Yo, what's up guys? It's Gangster Jabs, and we're gonna be doing an interview with a Mech Arena pro. I'm gonna be interviewing VOID-JABIR. He was the defending champion of the Mayhem 2v2 tournament. He was a champion of the CPC #1 in India. He's one of the best players in the world. Say what's up.
Hey man.
We've been boosting your ego too much. We got to shrink it down. Did you guys know that Silence can't handle Gangster Jabs in 1v1s? They call me the 1v1 king for a reason.
Oh, that is exactly why you lost 5-3 last time we did.
Last time I remember, it was 3-1 and you were raging about me getting double damage with my railgun.
Before that, I had a 3-game undefeated run on you where you couldn't deal out how the heck were you supposed to kill my search. Yeah.
Anyways, what do you think is the best way to get better at the game?
At least the best way to do that is by doing custom games. If you want to get better at the game, I guess what you could do is get to like 5,500, 6,000 squad power. Then you can participate in a lot of custom games that actually have the pros play. Then you can, find a competitive team or a clan, and then you can practice with them. One of my most favorite things to do is go up against random uneven matches. Okay, so just yesterday I had a random match. I was just playing CPC and I ended up facing 3 players who are around the same squad power as I am. Now that is something that showed me a lot of things I could improve upon. For example, I lost my surge too prematurely. I was able to get only 3 kills with my surge. Similarly, I realized that mortars are not as effective as you would think. I was getting motor messages every 4 or 5 seconds. The entire time, it wasn't affecting me much. A lot of the things you can learn from playing uneven matches. When you're going up uneven matches, you are going to lose. You might win, but most of the times you are going to lose. But what it helps you is you have limited resources. It helps you realize how to best use them.
Wow, that's some genius advice right there. Wow. Next question. If someone could max one mech in the game, which mech would you recommend them to max out?
It depends on the play style. For example, if it's someone who's bloodthirsty for PvP combat, likes going after players, winning matches, and stuff like that, I would recommend Surge. But if you want to grind tournament, get more points and stuff like that, I would recommend Stalker.
No Orion?
For me, that mech does not exist.
Okay. What do you think the best weapon in the game is right now?
Answer is EM16.
You think it's worth investing in them?
Again, depends on your playstyle. If you suck at sniping, no, absolutely not. EM16s are definitely worth investing in if you like snipers. If you don't, then I would just tell you to go invest in DL16.
Is it me or do EM rifles have auto aim? My cursor is here and they're over here and then automatically locks onto them.
They do.
They do?
When the laser sight is on, that is when the auto lock activates. For that, you can aim freely, but once the laser is on, that is when the target is locked. You can't switch.
You think EMs are a easier weapon to pick up than railgun?
I guess, yeah. EMs are easier to use than the real guns.
Pay to win. Gangster Jabs is about to get the EM soon. Let's go.
Doesn't matter, Jabir. You suck at sniping.
What?
Alright, so I would not be too worried about it.
Oh, you're exposing me. See, I'm a disc launcher type of guy.
Let's use the most unskilled weapon in game and call myself a skilled guy. Yeah.
What?
Kidding, man.
This
Go on.
weapon require so much skill.
0 skill. Once you figure out all the spots on the map where you have to shoot to get the splash, it's a no-brainer.
Well, maybe it's easy for you, but it took me so long to learn how to use disc launchers. The hardest part about using disc launchers is not locking onto enemies. When you're trying to shoot the wall behind them, it like auto locks onto the enemy, and then you get front damage. Getting back damage is hard.
The problem I can honestly relate to. I can't relate to that because you see, I play at like 97 sensitivity with vertical aiming.
What does high sensitivity do?
It basically gives you free aim. If it's locking on to something, if I move my thumb even a bit, it moves the aiming thing far enough for me to lose the lock.
What? Would you recommend hiring your sensitivity for the average player?
No, I would not. Because then it makes using snipers absolutely like a pain in the ass.
Anyway, do you think disc launchers are good for the game or bad for the game?
Not really. They're not overpowered. 16s might be overpowered.
But then again, it's easy to counter them.
Easy to counter them? How do you counter disc launchers?
If you can gauge how much 15 or 10 meters is in the game, then you can avoid getting hit most of the time. Or at least you can like turn your mech in such a way that it does not do the back damage on you.
So pretty much, if the enemy is using disc launchers, be at least 10 meters away from all walls, and if they splash the wall, like behind you, face the disc launchers.
If you turn your mech and face the wall, they can just change the aiming a bit. They can make it, they can pull the aim reticle a bit lower, and they can shoot you back directly. You move sideways. You
Sideways?
move your mech sideways, yeah. Because yeah, sideways still gets you 50% more damage, but it is less than 100% more damage.
Oh, what if you switch between front and back, and what if they're splashing back,
Works
then
in
you
a
front
1v1.
back? If there's
Works in a 1v1, doesn't work in a team match. If you're busy doing that, then when are you going to get the time to aim and fire? If you're busy doing this disc launcher dance.
It's not your dance. Next question. You've been playing matches with no pilots. Do you think the game is better with or without pilots?
Without pilots.
But like without pilots, the game is so slow. It's like in slow
It's more
motion.
strategic. When you play no pilots, all of a sudden motors are not that big of a threat anymore. Yeah, they can still hurt, but they're not that big of a threat. They can't kill you in one volley from one missile. Using arc torrents is not just a mere matter of, yeah, okay, they're in mid range, I'll just put my thumb on the button and it can just shoot them, right? No. You have to be 40 meters within them. That means arc torrents are really viable without pilots on mechs like Surge or Zephyr. If you want to play without pilots, then playing with disc launchers requires you to be much more precise. You can't just waste your shots because the reload is 6.6 seconds instead of that 4 seconds. If you spam your disc launchers without pilots, you're so with pilots, it's much more dependent on the 1v1 scenario. But without pilots, since it takes significantly longer to kill another player, right? So that is where team play actually factors in. Team play is a big thing without pilots.
So you like the custom matches with no pilots better than the custom matches with pilots?
Yes and no. Custom matches without pilot, I get more pissed off than anything because a lot of the people who play custom matches without pilots have no idea how to play custom matches without pilots. So most of the times it's me screaming at them, don't rush in like an idiot. When I'm playing with my team, it's much better because everyone knows what to do.
Okay, next question. Do you think any mechs or weapons need a buff?
Brick House, MD, Paragon does need a buff. Shadow needs a minor HP buff. Maybe give Cheetah like a 20-meter mine range or something. That would work.
And then what weapons do you think need a buff?
Voltaic RPGs. They need a serious damage buff. Like I'm thinking like 80%.
What about the gravitron beam?
Gravitons are balanced. I would not. Maybe they can introduce an implant for the gravitons that increase the implosion damage, or maybe they could have it such that the implosion blasts in a radius or something. The 16s aren't viable. 12, I would not say so.
Aren't carbines much better than gravitron beams?
Carbines are trash. I would even go as far as saying that even the Stasis 12 is better than the carbines.
No, you cannot say that. You cannot say that. The Stasis 12 is utter trash. How can you put carbine at its level?
Carbine is worse than that. Carbine doesn't help the team. Carbine takes too long to kill. Carbine has a horrible accuracy. Stasis helps in the way that Stasis helps the team at least. And Stasis can be a very big thing to influence the battlefield if it's open. If you have someone running two stasis beeps on a kill shot or a surge, and you have a map like you can make the kill shot run around, freeze people, or slow them down, and your team can mortar or railgun them.
No. Much rather have a
You
surge with carbine 12s than a surge with stasis 12s.
Carbines are not good on anything other than the Surge or the Zephyr at this point, to be honest. They're not good on Killshot, they're not good on Ares, they're not good on Stalker, or Brick House, or whatever. The only reason Carbines are good on Zephyr and Surge is because their abilities make it such that the enemy can't move.
So like up close when they're stunned, it's strong, but other than that, it's bad.
Yeah, Carbines are a waste of money right now.
Oh man, you are roasting carbide tools. What other weapons do you think need a buff?
I would say the javelins kind of do. I mean, I love the javelin 8s. I want to use them, but right now they just don't do enough damage for me to justify using them. Javelins, even with the double damage, they can't do significant damage against tanks and stuff like that. The 80 or 90% double damage, they might work.
Next question. Do you think mech-specific implants are worth investing in, or do you think they're a waste of an implant slot?
Some Mac implants are worth having, but only on legendary pilots. They're not worth having on epic pilots. Some implants, for example, the Surge, Dash Distance, the Stalker, Predator Drive.
Another question. You think a ability cooldown or a predator drive damage is better on Stephanie as the fourth implant?
I'm thinking of doing that, especially after I get bored. Because after I get bored, it doesn't really matter to me to have that 30% increase, but because a legendary pilot is already giving me a 30% increase over the epic pilot.
The dislauncher damage with predator drive and without predator drive, you think it's enough of a difference to justify it?
Yep. If you're able to kill someone faster, that means you get less damage on you. With Stalker, if you have the Predator drive on, you're dealing 50%, then 30%, that's 80% more damage. You are actually going to survive longer with that because you're going to kill something faster. You're going to get less damage, but you're also going to gain 10% more HP per kill.
So if you mostly use your dislaunchers on Stalker, you'd recommend having the predator drive implant on there and not on the mortars?
Yep. But then again, Faye on motors requires the Stalker. Core on motors does not.
Let's say you use Stalker for mortars, and then you use Orion with dislaunchers, and you switch between them. Do you still think the
Then
predator
hold
drive damage is worth it?
on is better. If you switch mechs around, then I would not recommend any specific meching plans. But if you have set builds, then yeah.
So for me, since I use Orion for dislaunchers, and then I use Stalker with dislaunchers against bots, the cooldown is good for me. But if I were to only use Stalker for dislaunchers, then the Stalker predator drive is better.
Yep.
Okay, last question. What do you think about the channel Gangster Jab?
You know what? I need to go have my dinner.
Dang
Get out. Bye.
it. No! Couldn't you at least say something like, oh, Gangster Jabs is a good channel, subscribe to it?
God, you don't pay me for this, alright? Fine. Gangster Jabs is a good channel. He makes good content. Go subscribe to him. Yeah, go subscribe. Happy?
Oh yeah, let's go. Silence has a YouTube channel of his own. I'm gonna link it in the description. Thanks, Silence, for hopping on the interview. If you guys enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and see ya, guys.